Hello. Thank you for joining me today for our show. For the next few weeks, we're going to do things a little differently. I usually have a guest on for the show. However, I wanted to start by doing a few weeks of just doing some homework. How's that? I want to talk to you about some things that we need to do so that we can level up, so that we can reinvent ourselves, some housekeeping that we need to do in order to elevate to the next level. And I said I was going to do this just by myself, just me and you. I'm going to talk to you directly. And if you should have some questions that pertain to anything that I say, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I always want to have our discussions to be interactive. And whatever I do, I want to make sure that I'm hitting on the areas that you need to hear. I'm hitting on the things that you need to feel. So I'll be sure to have my email address accessible for you somewhere in the comments, in the commentary, somewhere attached to this broadcast so that you will be sure that you are able to reach out and talk to me. All right. So we're going to kick off the next few weeks and make things interactive, making sure, number one, I can understand and I know that I'm hitting on what you need to hear. And then I want to hear back from you. All right. So this week, we're going to start out by talking about crushing those limiting beliefs. Yeah, we've talked about them before. We're going to talk about them again, and we're going to keep talking about it until we get to the point where we can totally dismiss them and know that we can triumph over our inner obstacles, because that is all that our limiting beliefs are, right? They're inner obstacles that are keeping us from being our very best and from doing the things that we really want to do and that we've wanted to do for a while for many of us. So, what's holding you back? Let's just start out right out of the gate. Let's ask that question. What is holding you back? And for those of you who may not have heard before, we've talked about it a lot, but I'll tell you what a limiting belief is. It's a conscious or subconscious belief that you hold, and you think in some way that it is causing you to be less than or not capable of. So, what you're doing is basically that belief is holding you back. They're ideas that limit you, that stop you dead in your tracks in many instances and keep you from doing those things that you really can't do. And, we all have them. We all have a limiting belief. Sometimes they come from our childhood, or perhaps they may have originated by, something our parents or a friend has said. Perhaps they have come up from experiences that we've had where we've had certain failures and, we haven't been able to push forward and felt like, that's it. I'll never be able to push forward in doing this, or, in starting out anything that I really, really want to do. Now, if you're going to truly achieve your real potential, you're going to have to destroy those beliefs. We've said it before. You know that. I know that. But just saying it is not necessarily going to lead to us doing it, right? It's not as easily done as it is said, basically. But if we keep reinforcing this, if we keep going over what they are, how they limit us, what are beliefs that we have that we don't even realize are limiting, we're going to talk about that today. If we keep going over things like that and reinforcing the fact that they don't have to limit us, and 9.99% of the time out of 10, they're not true anyway. So, even if there is something that may have limited you at some point in life, we can get past that thing. And that's what we're going to dedicate some time to. And we're going to dedicate time to talking about it, period. So, what are some limiting beliefs that we have in regards to things that we want to do? The biggest thing, particularly we as women, we don't have enough time. That is a limiting belief. You know, And it's not just women, of course, it's everybody. But, we women have a tendency to pile a whole bunch on our plates when it comes to our family and trying to do things outside of the house and making sure that everybody is okay. We've got projects to work on, things to do around the house, people that we have to spend time with, administrative tasks that we do, inside the house. We could be paying bills, preparing for stuff inside the house that we have to do outside of the house. So there's always something to keep us extremely busy. But it also limits us to believe or in believing that we can actually get things done. And it's basically a matter of doing better with our time, keeping our time differently, managing our time so that we can actually do the things that, we desire to do and we can make time for them. So it's not that we don't have time. We're not making time. And it's easy to feel that way, that you're just so busy and you totally skip over the things that really matter. You're doing the things that have to get accomplished, but those things that really matter to you are getting pushed to the side. And for that reason, they are a limiting belief. What's another one? I'm too old to start something new. Hello, risers. I say this all the time. Age is nothing but a number. Or, like my Uncle Saunders says, age is nothing but a number until you hit 90, then things start to change up a bit. Okay. Most of us are below that threshold. And even at 90, he wasn't being held back. But I want to tell you that what you want to do, those goals that you have held out for yourself for so long, they did not have an age on them. They didn't have a number attached to them. The only way to truly achieve great things is to get started. Okay? To get started. I don't care the age. Many of us feel that we have to get started at a young age. That's just not true. And then work and work and work and work until we finally achieve it at an older age. If there is something that you are to do, if there is something that you need to fulfill as a part of the purpose that you're here to carry out, then it is never too late to get that thing done. Because if it's a part of your purpose, it is bound and it is supposed to come through. So if it hasn't been done yet, maybe you just need to stop, or maybe you just need to think and say, perhaps I need to push this through. And it's not that I'm too old, it's the fact that I haven't done it yet. And I'm really a little late in getting things done. Not too late and not too old, just a little late. So push forward anyway. Don't let age hinder you in any way from doing the things that you desire to do and the things that you're supposed to do. I always talk about that imprint you're supposed to make in the world. Make that imprint. Don't let age stop you. All right. What's another limiting belief? Past failures. Oh, yeah, we've all got them. Every last one of us. If we can sit and listen to this broadcast and say that we have never failed and that anything that we haven't succeeded in, a past failure is limiting us in what we think we can do right now. If we can honestly say that, I don't know how, because there is always somewhere through your journey that something has not gone the way that you've planned. And no matter what you say, chances are a piece of that is sticking with you, and it may be limiting you in believing what you can do now, what you're capable of doing, what you should even pursue. Many of us just allow our beliefs to just stop us dead in our tracks and not even think, not even dream anymore. We just hold ourselves back because we're limiting because of our age, as I said, or because of a past failure. We need to treat those failures as learning opportunities. Those failures were there to grow us so that we can be bigger and better and more effective in what we do, because we are going to learn from them so that we can push forward, push past failure to a future of hope, is what I always say. Push past that failure to a point of hope so that you know, hey, yeah, this happened, but I've learned from that and I can move on. And perhaps I can even help someone else so that they too can fulfill their purpose and do the things that they want to do and get past those limiting beliefs that are holding them back too. So get past that failure and push for the future. How about that? What's another limiting belief? My past is going to always negatively affect or influence my future. Not so. Let's just be honest. There are some things that we've done or some things that we've experienced in our past that are going to be with us for a while. But that does not mean that they're going to cause us to fail. That does not mean that they are going to negatively impact us going forward so that we cannot move but stay stagnant where we are. That is not failure, is another learning opportunity. And we have to move past it. We have to take it for what it is, take out the things that we're supposed to learn, tuck it in our bag, in our journey bag, as I call it, as tools for the journey. Okay? Tuck them in as tools for the journey and proceed forward. You cannot let your past dictate what you're destined to do in the future. I'll say that again. You cannot let your past dictate what you are destined to do in the future. You are cutting yourself short. You're cutting the world short because obviously there is something there that you need to do, something that the world needs. I don't know what that may be. I don't know what business that may be, or uh, you know, what invention you may have that will better things for the world, that may better things for a group of individuals who are underprivileged and they need your invention to move forward. What is it that you may be holding back on because of your past that's totally influencing your future and perhaps the future of others? That's something to think about. Get past that. Realize that what's in your past, again, another learning opportunity. Use it as your tool. Use it as a tool for your journey. How's that? Another limiting belief. My resources are limited. Okay, yeah, I have some things that I want to do out there too that are going to require resources. All right. Many of us have overcome some of the other limiting beliefs. We finally believe that we can do something. We finally believe that, we have an idea that is worth pursuing. It's good for me to finally and go and pursue the professional development that I've been longing to do. It's good for me to go ahead and open up that catering business that, you know, was birthed by some genes that my ancestors have, who all through the years, everybody I can think of could just cook, cook, cook. And I've got it too. And I finally realized that I may be the first generation to actually monetize it. But then you think about it and you're like, but I have no money and no place to start. That's another limiting belief, that you have to have all of the funds needed. You have to have all of your resources. You have to have them plentiful in order to pursue what it is that you want to birth. And that's simply not true. Yes, resources are required. You can start with limited resources. Okay. I know it is, your resources may be scarce, but you cannot operate from a scarcity mentality. You have got to operate from a success mindset, knowing that you are going to work with what you have until you can at least get to the point where you can fully birth what it is that you want to bring to fruition. But don't let the belief that you don't have all of the resources available, don't let that hold you back. That is another thing that, again, is in your mind, there to hold you down, to keep you from progressing, to keep you from journeying to where it is that you need to be. Another belief: I lack major progress. I haven't made any progress thus far. And the fact that I haven't made any progress, that means that I'm going to fail. That means that I'm going to fail. I have not made the progress that I really want to make. And I just can't see this being successful. That is probably among some of the biggest limiting beliefs that I have heard over the years from people that I've spoken with, from people that I've worked with. It's hard to come back from failure. Once you finally make up in your mind that you're going to do something, you've gotten over some of those beliefs that, may have been instilled again with you as a child, that you would never amount to anything. You failed horribly when you were in college. It took you forever. You may not have even been able to make it out, period. And in your mind, you're thinking, I tried and there's just no way. I failed then. I'm starting to fail now in what I'm trying to do. I haven't progressed very far. This isn't going to go very far. Again, another limiting belief that will keep you stuck, that will keep you in a cycle of constantly wanting to do something and thinking about it and trying it a little and stepping back because it's not going forward. And you're doing that over and over and over again, which in itself is bringing about a whole new realm of negative beliefs that are going to hold you down even further. You see, to progress is going to take some patience, particularly when you're starting to talk about things like business. Businesses, yeah, there are some people who have overnight success, but that is not the case for many. That is not the case for most. It is going to take some real knuckle power. It's going to take a real push to be able to birth that thing that you want to birth. And if it isn't successful at the onset, that doesn't mean it's not going to be successful. That doesn't mean it's not going to be successful in the end. It is going to be successful. But 9 out of 10, you just need to give that thing a little more time. And again, with each try is a lesson. Each turn is a new cycle. You think about it almost as cotton candy. You know how the cotton candy machine, you start out really small by spinning the cone around the little metal part that has accumulated the cotton candy. And that thing grows and it grows and it grows. The more that you spin it around that metal insert, that's the same thing with progressing in the things that you're trying to bring to the world. You have got to realize that it may not just take right off, but it may take some building. And, every now and then that cotton candy machine gets stuck too and just starts spewing out candy, spewing out sugar. You may have to turn it off, reload, start again, put that paper cone back in, start it around that metal insert, and just go all over again until you get it to the nice big ball that you want it to be. Do not give up. Do not lose faith. Do not run out of patience. All right? Do not run out of patience. So, another limiting belief, comparing yourself to others. I say this all the time. We all have different imprints. There is not one imprint that is totally identical to another person's imprint. Twins, doesn't matter. I don't care. We all have individual imprints. And just like we have an individual imprint, we are supposed to make an individual mark. We may do something similar to someone else, but that does not mean that everything that we do, all that we bring to fruition, is going to look exactly like someone else's. Your success is not going to look like another person's success because their definition for success is different from yours. Why? Because I always say that you are the one who coins the definition for success. What success means to you, it may not mean the same thing to someone else. And even if it's similar, even if it does mean something similar, that still does not mean that you should compare your success to someone else's. It's totally individual. And the sooner you get that, the sooner you understand that and accept that and stop letting comparison keep you from going to where you want to go. The sooner you do that, the more successful you are going to be. So stop it. Your success in no way should look like anyone else's. And for that reason, do not compare yourself. That's one of the reasons why you shouldn't. The other is just because you are uniquely yourself. Confidently, boldly, you should be yourself. All right? So that's it for today, guys. Be sure to listen out as I give you some resources that are going to support all the things that we've talked about. We're going to have another section where we're going to still talk about limiting beliefs. We're going to do part two. It's not over because we are going to get this because we know deep down in our hearts that we can actually go further. We can rise. We can rise from where we are to do all of the things that we've dreamt of doing. We can pursue those things. We are at a point in life now where we owe it to ourselves to rise.